Hi, I'm George Pearson, and in this video we'll be looking at the new features in the new CorelDRAW 2018. Now if you like this video, make sure you click that like button and also share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any videos in the future, and to learn a lot more about CorelDRAW, take a look at my complete training titles and you'll find a link for those up there in the upper right hand corner. Okay, let's get to it. There are several exciting new features here, new tools inside of CorelDRAW 2018. We'll be looking at the Symmetry Tool right there, the interactive block shadow. To scroll down just a little bit over here. You can publish to WordPress. We're not going to bother looking at that. It's just a link. Scroll down a little bit further, and we have allowing you to change the shape of a bitmap based upon an envelope. We'll look at that. We'll look at the Pointilizer tool, putting perspective onto a bitmap over here as well. Now down below this, there's one more here inside of CorelDRAW, and that's the impact tool, putting in these impact lines. We'll look at that also. These next two items, these are both over in Photo Paint, so we will not be looking at those. And the bottom option down here, this is with the Aftershock program. We won't be looking at that either. So there we go. We'll be taking a look at the Symmetry Tool, interactive block shadow, the bitmaps, editing here with the envelope, Pointilizer, and perspective correction. Let's start all this with a brand new file. Just click on the New File button. I'll leave this at the CorelDRAW defaults, except that I have mine set for a landscape or wide format just to fit into the window better here. There we are. Now we'll start by taking a look at the Symmetry Tool. You get to that tool by right-clicking on the mouse, and there it is right there, Create New Symmetry. Notice I didn't have to have anything selected. I can do it with a selected object, but you don't have to have anything selected. You can go ahead and just make a symmetry just like that. Now it gives you this line here. It looks like a guideline. It's called a mirror line, and anything you do over here on the right-hand side will be mirrored over here on the left-hand side. Let's just do a little freehand something in here. Little thing, little kind of ear shape here. Strange alien creature or whatever. Just like that. And notice how it automatically mirrors that on the other side. When you're through editing your image here in Symmetry, you can come down here, click on that button, and this will then take you out of Symmetry mode. Let's just make some adjustments in here. I'll grab the Shape tool. There it is. Let's just grab that spot. We'll pull that down. Let's pull this over here a little bit and up. Let's bring this in a bit. Notice how when I make changes over here, those changes are reflected over there on the left-hand side, keeping that nice symmetry happening. So there you go. That's the basis of working with the Symmetry tool. It gives you this mirrored option. When you're done, again, click on that, and there's your whole object. And it works as one object at this point. You can always get back to Symmetry mode. Just go over here to the Pick tool, double-click on your object, and it takes you back into Symmetry mode again. Okay, now you don't have to work like this. Let's just delete this. You can also put your symmetry in after the fact. Let's do that with a new Freehand tool here. Let's just do just a real basic leaf shape in here. Nothing very dramatic. Little leaf shape. Let's just put a central line on that. There we go. I'm going to move that line over a bit and nudge it into place with my mouse. There we go. It looks pretty good. Maybe we can tweak our bottom position here just a little bit on that. I'm going to zoom in a bit and make sure we're okay. Okay, that looks good. Just getting the nice position on that. Looks all right. Zoom back out again. This is a basic leaf shape. There it is. Let's now do a fill on this. I'll come down here and grab the Smart Fill tool. I have it set with a yellow right now. I guess that's fine. I'll just click over here for the yellow. There we go. Click back out. Let's go back to the Smart Fill tool again. And let's choose a variation in here. Let's just set this up to a green value. There we go, nice green. And get that side. So there's two sides on this. I can now scroll out a little bit and let's make this a bit smaller. Just go over corner, bring it down. Oh, about there, looks pretty good. I'll just put it right there. We now can do a symmetry on this object. Right click and create new symmetry. And you get that mirror line in there. Now you can move your mirror line around. I'll move it right up against my leaf shape and it pulls that in next to that shape. So you can do that. You can kind of move your positions around like this and it's always mirrored at that distance. Okay, so far so good. A couple leaves, big deal. Nothing dramatic about that. Let's look at our options up here now though. First option, we have the full preview. That's fine. We have our symmetry lines. We're seeing that. And then we have this. It's mirror lines. Right now it's at 1 mirror line. I'm going to click up on this and notice how it adds in more mirror lines. And each mirror line gives me additional objects. Looks like 6 fits pretty well in here. So there we go. Let's just click on that and choose OK. So there's a nice little mirror on that, and it takes that one leaf and mirrors it around 6 times. I'll hit the P key to center this, and then let's do a right drag and copy. Give me a copy of that. Let's bring this down just a little bit and bring that in over the top here and hit that P key again. Centers that and click on that once and we'll rotate that around just a little bit. There we go. So you can quickly make pretty dramatic and complex shapes just by using this symmetry tool. Let's just drag this out here again and we'll copy, make that a bit smaller. There we go. We'll bring that in on top. I'll do the P again to drop it on top. So a fairly complex design in here done easily and quickly using that symmetry tool. Okay, so far that's pretty good. It's a nice little tool. Again, that's scroll up here and we can see that again. That's the symmetry tool in here. Moving on now to the interactive box shadow. I guess make a new file for this one here. Choose OK. There we go. I'm just going to put in a little bit of type in here. I'll grab my text tool. Box shadow. There we go. And let's set the alignment on here to center. Let's find a little more interesting typeface for this. I'll use this Bauhaus, which is pretty good. Just a basic bit of text. We can go ahead and make this a bit larger now to fit. And let's give this some color. Just a nice little cyan. Okay, so the basic text in here. I'm going to right click on the text now and let's convert this to curves. We now can use that box shadow effect. Come over here to the effects right here and you'll find box shadow added to the bottom. Right down below extrude. And these are very, very similar actually on how they work, the extrude and the box shadow. Same basic kind of concept. Click on box shadow, grab in here someplace you can pull it out. You can see it's just like how the extrude works. I'll just position this where I want to, just about there. Let go, and it fills in your box shadow. Easy to use, simple as you can tell. Click on that little center icon in here, and you can bring up the color. Let's go ahead and change this to a kind of nice kind of medium blue. There we are. And there it is. Pretty straightforward as you can see using that box shadow. There you go. So again, that's over here hiding underneath the effects right down there beneath the extrude, and that's where you'll find that box shadow. Just click and drag. Now you will have to, if you're working with text, you'll have to convert your text to curves for this to work, but that's the only little drawback on this. Now once you have your box shadow, there are a few options up here in the options. Notice we have our X, Y positions and so forth. Up here This is the depth. You can decrease or increase your depth right there. Next to that, we have the direction. So you can kind of swing this around. So you have complete control here, numeric control, over the exact depth and your lighting angle or position on that. You can control the block shadow color right here. You can overprint this block shadow, make sure it prints properly. You can simplify this, which sometimes will help when you're working with plotters or with vinyl cutters, things like that. If you remove holes, it does that. Takes those holes. I'll just undo that. I'm going to undo the simplify as well because that I lost a little bit of my D shape right down there when it's simplified. Notice that these are interactive. You can go back and forth on these. You're not stuck with it if you go ahead and do that. If your object has an outline, you can take that into account when you make your box shadow to include that outline or not right here. You also can add in an additional outline here by expanding the box shadow. Just click on the up here, actually make the box shadow larger. In effect, that will give you an additional outline like that based upon the box shadow. Notice also how the outside of the box shadow also gets larger as I do that. So that kind of an outline possibly is better done as an outline on your object, an interior outline on the object instead of with the box shadow. But you could use this with an interior outline for your object and this exterior outline from the box shadow and have a double outline. So there are a lot of possibilities in here with this, and then you can delete the whole thing right there if you want to. So there it is, box shadow. As you can see, pretty easy to do. Fun little tool. I like this one a lot. I'll be using this one a lot in the future. Okay, let's just close that down. And let's scroll down, take a look at our next option down here. I'm going to show you where the WordPress is. That's over here under the File menu. And I'll have to set one up as under the Export for. Let me just go ahead and set up a new file. We'll look at that in just a second. Come down here. We'll look at the bitmap next. So I'll make a new file. There we go. Here's our new file. Once you have a file in here, you can export for. WordPress is right down there. It is a simple dialog box. It just links you up to your WordPress online and then uploads into your WordPress image library, media library. Now this only works with the free sites or the paid sites that are hosted on WordPress.com. If you have a WordPress installation that is hosted on a different hosting provider where you set it up and everything is done outside of WordPress.com, this will not do anything for you there. It only works with the WordPress.com hosted WordPress site, so it's a bit limited on that one. Okay, let's go ahead and bring a bitmap image in here. Go up to File, come down to Import, and there we are. I'm already in the right directory. Of course, you can navigate to a different folder if you want to, but that's the image I want. Choose Import, and I'll just drop that onto the page. And let's just make this a bit larger in here. So once we have this on the page, we now can go ahead and warp this. And you'll find that over on our Effects button. There's the block shadow again. Let's go here to Envelope. And notice how we now have an envelope on the bitmap. I'm going to set this one at the single arc mode. And I have mine set at putty. And I'll just pull this top up. There we go. And pull the bottom up. You get kind of a nice curve effect in here. Looks like it's being curved around a curved surface. If you want more control on this, simply switch over here to the Unconstrained Mode. And we now can move any of our points in anywhere we want to. I can adjust the points any way I feel like it. To become a nice wave thing in here. There you go, a bit of a wave effect happening. So real easy, as you can see, to get complete control over the warping of your bitmap. Real cool tool. We've had warping, of course, for a long time on objects, but never on bitmaps before. And this will be really, really useful, helping you, again, to bring in bitmaps into your images and give you even more control for creating great artwork. But there it is. That's that warp on the bitmap. And again, you'll find that over here with the rest of the effects. And it's the standard envelope right there, but it now also works on bitmaps and not just on CorelDRAW objects. Okay, let's close this one down here. Just get rid of that. There we go. Let's look at the Pointilizer next. And for that one, I'm going to bring up here a recent file I did. Just do the box shadow. And I'll zoom in on that one. Here's our box shadow image. And there's the object, as you can see. Let's now take a look at that Pointilize. Go up to the Effects menu right here, and you'll find the Pointilizer right down there in the Effects menu. Let's bring that up. Here it is. You can choose from a circle or a square, or you can even draw a custom shape or a custom object and then use that as your Pointilizer shape. Just leave it at circle, click Apply, and there it goes. Just goes through and converts the whole thing into these dots. Now if I click on this, you'll see how all of these are little objects. You have a lot of control on that one. Let's just undo that effect. Let's now change our settings here to a square. Let's change the density here to twice as many, to 20 instead of 10, and choose Apply. And there we go. Notice how it begins to fill in the whole shape if you increase the density. But there it is with a square and a higher density setting. So as you can see, pretty easy to do. Now I did lose my shadow on these things. So that is one problem. You will lose that shadow. That was just the regular box shadow effect. So that was lost, but get this real nice kind of a pointillized effect in here. Again, and you'll find that under the effects and the Pointilizer right there. It also opens up, as you can see, as a Docker over here on the right hand side. You can then minimize that and you'll still have that Docker available right there on the right side menu. Okay, let's close this down. I'm not going to bother saving that. And let's take a look at the perspective correction of Bitmap over here. So again, new file. Choose OK. There's the new file. Let's bring a couple of pictures in here. So import. I'll start with this picture here with this easel, little blank easel. And make this nice and large on our page. That's pretty good. Just like that. And let's import again. Bring the horse picture back in again. Here is the horse picture. Okay, now I want to add perspective on the horse picture so that it fits onto that easel. So it'll roll there on the mouse to zoom in. Now you'll find this again up in the Effects menu and Add Perspective right there below that new Pointilizer. So click on Add Perspective. Now the way this works is you grab the corners and you can pin those corners to locations. So simply take it in and pin it to a location, and it will then distort the image into that position. Now if you're like this, if you're off what you want to see, I found it's easy to pull it in like that and then move it up into the spot you want it to be at. And of course you can fine tune in here once you have things positioned properly. There we go. Let me try this corner again just a little bit further out, I think. Like that. Okay, I'll scroll out, click outside, and there it is. Dropped on perspective-wise very easily just using that new perspective tool. And again, that's up here. Effects, Add Perspective, and this is now working with your bitmaps. All right, let's look at the last one. That's that Impact tool. I'm just going to close this down. And we'll scroll down again. And there's that Impact tool right there. Let's go ahead and see how this thing works. Make a new file. Choose OK. Let's put in a nice large A in the middle of the page. And let's enlarge that a bit so we can see it. We'll go back to that Bauhaus, which is kind of a nice typeface. And hit the P just to center that on the page. So there we go. We'll now do the impact effect, maybe a little smaller on this. I'm going to move it over here to the left side just for, or right side rather, just for a second. Okay, go up here to the polygon tool right there. That's what looks like a hexagram. Click on that, and you'll find the impact tool right in here, right beneath the complex star and above the graph paper. It's right there. Easy to use, just click and drag, and you can come in and then create these impacts. So you can do this radial impact like that. Let's just undo that. Or you can change this to a parallel, into a parallel like that. Now once you have this done, you can modify the effect. You're not stuck with just this one look. First off, right here, you can do an inner boundary and outer boundary. We'll talk about that in just a bit. You can do an angle rotation in here, adjust your angle. You can randomize your start and your end points, so these are randomized in here. If I don't have them randomized, things will line up nice and straight. There you go, nice straight lines. Or randomized. You can adjust the minimum and maximum line width on this. A little hard to see here, of course, because how thin this is. I'll just pull it back a bit so that nice thin down on that line width. I'm going to do 2 steps in here with steps. There we go. So a couple different steps happening in there, so you can kind of mix that up a little bit. Over here, you can adjust the line spacing between your lines and these steps on the line spacing. And then here, you can adjust your line style. There's a straight line. There's kind of a pointed thing in here. Here's an oval line, and here's one with a solid end on the right-hand side and then going off to the left-hand side smooth. This is real nice if you want to put it in behind something, like speed lines like that. Let's just bring the A to the front, right-click, order, and to front of page. And I'll just spread this up a little bit so it fits properly. Easy to do. Now click on this. Let's go back and take a look at these things. Here we have the inner boundary. Over here you can use this to use the outer edge to create a boundary. Basically this will put a space around an object. Of course that's text. It's not going to work on the text. You have to convert that into an object for that. But it allows you to put a little border around there. Or you can always just put a border, of course, around your text if you want to put a little space in there. Just go over here to your object properties, and looking at your outline down here, just give it an outline of white, and you can use that to create a space in there as well. So several ways of doing that. Back to our object again. Here we go. One last thing on this. Let's put back in this kind of a diamond-shaped thing. And look at the 85. Now this shows where on the line the widest point happens. Click on this, bring up the slider control. See we're way over here to the right-hand side, and here's the widest point way over here to the right-hand side. If I pull this over towards the left, notice how that wide part goes over here to the left. So that's what this does, is this controls the widest point of the one that you selected and where it falls on the line. There you go, just like that. So pretty easy to use on this line format. Let's just delete that. We'll take our A and put this back in the middle of the page. Click on P. There we go. And let's go again back to the impact tool, and again it's right there in the polygon section. Let's change this over to the radial. I'll come in the middle here. There's the center of the page, and I'll pull out from the center of the page. And same thing, all of our same options up in here. I can control the line width, the width steps in here, the line spacing, and the line style. Let's bring our line width down on this one. A little better. And I'll bring the top one up a little bit. So it has some variation in there. Notice I have this set for random start points and random end points. Gives more variation on that. Again, we can change the style. There we go, all different styles. And it works just like it did with the parallel. And if we change our number of steps up here, we get a larger variety of looks as well. So you can come in here and do some changes in there just by changing the number of steps on that. Now, while I change the coloration on this, just go over here to Object Properties, and here's your properties. You can change the fill color right here. There's a blue. There's kind of a reddish fill color on that one. You can even do, if you want to, fountain fills on this thing. Let's do a radial fountain fill, and I'll put this way so it's lighter in the center. So lots and lots of options on this, as you can see, once you have this thing done. And again, let's right click on this and order, send it back a page and put it in behind the A. And there we go. Real cool effect, done very quickly, as you can see, but with a lot of options in this right over here, hiding underneath the polygon tool, and it's right there, the impact tool. So there we go. That's a somewhat quick look at several of these new features here inside of the new CorelDRAW 2018. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. If you like this video, click on the like button below to let others know. You can click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. I'm frequently uploading new training videos. Don't forget to check out my website at howtogurus.com.